Hi, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to talk about handling invalid input. So we would like to write a program that asks the user for an integer and handles value error if they enter a non-integer. So here is my program. I'm doing my program in the try block because I'm assuming that the user may make some mistakes at some point and I don't want my program to crash. Therefore, I am writing it in the try block. So I ask the user to enter an integer. Whatever the user is going to enter is going to be stored using the input function, and then it is going to be converted to an integer, and then it is going to be assigned to the num variable. And then we are going to show this message to the user saying that you entered and show the entered number by the user. However, if the user is going to enter anything but an integer, we are going to have a value error, and this error is caught by value error using the try except block. And then we are going to show this message in the output. Print error, invalid input, please enter a number. So the compiler understands that we had to enter an integer because we are using the integer keyword, but we are not entering an integer. Therefore, it understands that it's a value error. Okay, so when we have the value error keyword here, it is going to say, okay, yes, the user is making the value error and the programmer has used the try except block. Therefore, I can throw an exception and show this message in the output. However, if we were not using the try and except block, the program would have crashed when the user is going to enter, for example, anything but an integer. So when I run this code, it says enter an integer. I type down, for example, 20. So 20 is stored in num, and then we are having it in the output. You entered 20. So this is the output. Okay, so no problems happened. Nothing happened. We faced no problems because everything went correctly. We were supposed to enter an integer and we entered an integer, in fact. However, if we type down, for example, a character instead of an integer, for example, I type down C. So when I enter C, the compiler understands that we were supposed to have an integer because we use the int keyword here, but the user is entering a character. So it's not of the same type that we were expecting. So we were expecting an integer, but the user entered a character. So it is a problem. Therefore, the compiler understands that it's a value error. So, and we are having the value error keyword in the try except block. So the compiler says, okay, we are having the value error try except block. Therefore, let me throw an exception. And this exception is caught using the except keyword and then the value error. And then this message therefore is shown in the output. Invalid input, please enter a number. However, if I was not using the try and except keyword, we were just having the program being crashed as we showed in the previous videos. So let me run the code one more time. I type down W and it says invalid input, please enter a number. And I run it one more time, and this time I type down, for example, 12. We see that there is no problem, no error is thrown, therefore no exception is thrown, therefore we are having the you entered 12. So the 12 is shown in the output. Thank you for watching.